Bring back AG Green Tech? No, it's done now, off heaven. This is the start of the real arc. I assume you've seen this? I've not actually.
That's also why I don't play Among Us.
Wow.
I'm tough.
Wow. He's ex-military. Holy shit. Damn. Yeah, we did dodge a bullet there. We were talking to him about being in Tides of Death. Wouldn't that have been unfortunate? The Bard is immortalized. It's sad for the Bard, but at least we have his music. At least we'll always have his music. It's kind of been going off in the Tides of Death Discord today. We almost... Mutant, at one point, challenged Potato to a debate about killing the Bard. Got a little bit out of hand, but things have calmed down since. Got a little bit out of hand. He challenged me to a debate on Destiny stream earlier as well. It was, whew. Mutant was, he was triggered. He was triggered. There's nothing wrong with it. Happens to the best of us. We were just talking about you, Potato. About how you were a legend. Yes, and how. The power is mine. Your spot in the campaign was going to be Arcadum. And then he pulled out because he couldn't make the scheduling work. So thank God that we got the based Potato legend. Instead of the totally unbased, sexually abusive Arcadum. I know. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Dodged a mega bullet there. Oh, the hugest of bullets. That would have been... What's happened with Arcadum? Listen, Abster, I'm going to show you. This is all you need to know, mate. The power is mine. This is all you need to know. This is my greatest crowning achievement in life. 1,151 likes. This is all you need to know. Okay, next tweet. Let's see what the man himself has to say.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it was pretty good.
Make him delete it, Mooten.
Oh, no. To be fair, when I heard that Destiny wanted me to delete it, I was worried that it was far too edgy, because coming from him, you're going to be living high off that tweet for a week, mate. I know you're joking, but it's actually true. I sort of feel the allure of it. I can see why Destiny does it. So was Moot on a losing streak in LoL yesterday? It felt like he was throwing a tantrum during D&D. The real tantrum was after D&D. He was relatively calm. But I see where he's coming from. It's okay. You're not going to catch me here slagging off Mooten, okay? Mooten's a good guy. And I think he's just trying to play his character, you know? The best way he knows how. Riddle me this, Nick. What do we have to do to get you to start a solo campaign with Koibo? Rise of the Necromancer in Arcadia. I'd love that so much. I think what you've got to do is make it so that I can afford to pay $400 a week without cutting into my own money. How likely is Neil to just TPK on a screwed up teleport? Seems like a shitty way of ending a campaign that's hard to rules lawyer. It is. I feel like he'll do it to maintain legitimacy if he has to. Do it, get a Patreon for a one-on-one Necromancer campaign. I swear to God, that will 100% happen. Watch me. Okay, Yokan. Now, do remember, it will take a day of the streaming schedule to do it. Because we do Tides of Death on Tuesday, Tomb of Scoria on Thursday. Our only other official streaming days are Monday and Wednesday. So, we could definitely do it, though. Alright, I'll think about it over the weekend. I'll maybe work on the Patreon. I think to add another campaign, you might want to wait before one of the campaigns end. Well, I reckon if we do the Patreon, it might take a little while to get to the point where we can actually afford to commission Neil. So, yeah, I think we could set it up. We could wait a little bit. We could talk with Neil about what we want. We could do all that sort of stuff on stream, since it'll be a campaign paid for by chat. We could discuss what we want to get out of it with Neil on the stream, which would be quite fun. We could sort of get a look into those discussions. Keep in mind, in a solo campaign, clubs will focus you. That's all right. If you look at the times where I've played solo sessions with Neil, I honestly think that's some of my favorite D&D sessions. Like, there was the first episode of Hardcore Heroes Arcadia where Malachi was alone in Shirebrook. There was the few episodes with Malachi in Akuba. There was the one-on-one with when I was testing out the new Necromancer rules. Like, all of those were really good sessions. Honestly, I don't want to sound cringe or anything, but I deadass love how you play D&D. There's something about how you handle situations and interact with the world that seems so legit, and your passion about the game is truly why I love watching you in any campaign. I don't think I'm alone in thinking this about you, but I just wanted to put it out there, and that's why me and loads of other people can't get enough D&D content that involves you. Yoken, thanks so much, man. That's really nice to hear. I think that yeah, I think I do have like I think I got a good way of playing D&D, but I think part of it is that my only exposure to D&D is through Neil's games and my own games that I DM'd, basically where I was copying Neil's style. So I think like I've just got good chemistry with Neil, and I think that when we're role playing, the two of us, it's always like flows really well and it works really well. And I think that in Tides of Death, because there's newer players, I've been able to, I don't want to take all the credit for this. Obviously, Pokemon and Potato themselves have just done a great, fantastic job, really better than I ever imagined. But I like to think that I've kind of like ushered in my kind of style of trying to stay in character all the time and keep the roleplay going in a way that I wasn't really able to do in Tombs of Scoria, because Destiny's such a big personality and it's kind of hard to encourage Destiny to act in any way other than Destiny wants to act, you know. You do a great job with Neil. My campaigns have been modeled after you guys. Yeah, and you know what? It's my campaigns were, before I was ever playing with Neil, were molded over the original roleplay that Neil DM'd with In Control and It Me JP. So, you know, we're all learning from each other and just passing on what I learned. I want to find a group of people. I've DM'd for a long time and a lot of players suck and I've been a bad DM. Listen, Supreme Jello, your DMing skills aside, as long as you've not sexually abused any of your players, you're up there in the top 82.8%. Do you prefer playing good or evil characters? I prefer to play... If I was going to play like Nilrim or a Paladin, I'd rather play a Paladin. The like massively chaotic evil, murder and slaughter everyone isn't my idea of what I think's like a super interesting evil character to play. Whereas I actually do think that the specifically lawful, with an emphasis on lawful good, can be a cool character to play. And if you haven't seen it and you want to dig into a bit of the Nick ancient lore, there's a one-shot. This one, Fortune's End here, where I play a Paladin of Astaire with Greg, who's playing a Cleric of Astaire. And we go to Fortune, which is Count Vision. Where basically, the premise for the story is that we're chasing down a serial killer, like a murderer, and we've tracked him down to Fortune. And we're in Fortune trying to find this guy, but obviously Fortune's like run by a vampire, and there's some fucking shady shit going on, and we're like lawful good Cleric and Paladin there. This is a great one-shot. Really recommend it if you've not seen it. It's just a one-off thing. It's good. Recommend. So in hindsight, do I prefer playing good or evil? I think if it's going to be an extreme, I prefer playing good. But I think if it's somewhere murky in the middle, then I think like Malachi and John Winters are a little bit more fun than Imric and William. I definitely support Patreon for a one-on-one campaign with Koibu. All right, let me speak to Neil about it first, because I don't want to put the Patreon up and then find that he's not up for it, you know. So yeah, I'll speak to him about it. Todd is definitely better RP-wise than Tombs of Scoria. Yeah, I think so. And I honestly believe that in the end, Tides of Death will be a better campaign. Right now, Tombs of Scoria is like running really, really strong on the like huge amount of like backstory that's been built up in the campaign, like 48 episodes in, and also by the like the gravity of the goals and the stakes that are in Tombs of Scoria make it extremely engaging to watch. But that will happen with Tides of Death when we get 30, 40 sessions in. And I think that all the role-playing that we've been doing will pay off a lot more. Like, personally, I didn't feel anywhere near as invested in Imric as I did in Malachi or William. Just because I've not really, like, explored the character in character half as much. I killed all but one player in my first 4 sessions DMing in 5e. Since then, I do only custom 2e. People still die, though. I think if you're killing people in 5e, it's going to be easier to kill them in 2e, you know? I'm maybe one of the few people who prefers Tombs of Scoria to Tides of Death, but prefer Wily to Frog Dude. Based. I'm sure lots of people prefer Tombs of Scoria to Tides of Death. I'm pretty sure you're not a minority in that opinion. Do you think it's too late for Tombs of Scoria to have some more character building roleplay, or do you guys feel a bit rushed to fast track towards the fight with Scoria? I think there's still room. We definitely, because for the first sort of 15 sessions, we barely roleplayed at all. And then around 35, there was definitely like a good sort of 5 to 10 session period where we did loads of role playing. There was some of my some of my favorite episodes, so I think it's possible, yeah. What's the 17.8% meme? I'm so confused. Arcadum said that he kept track of everyone he played D&D with, and he was only still friends with 17.8% of them. How does John Winters feel about Nilram ignoring his orders? Does he feel disrespected? I don't think John really thinks that he has any control over Nilram. Nilram is kind of a... what's that? A loose cannon. He's powerful and dangerous and pig-headed and thinks he's right, thinks he's the smartest person in the room all the time. Hard to control. So the kind of person that Winters probably wouldn't usually hang out with, but given the situation, kind of makes sense to keep him around. You know, because in a world where there's not that many wizards around, if you've got a wizard on your side, that gives you a big advantage. I think the general incompetence of the authorities and Todd kind of breaks suspension of disbelief. You guys get away with way more than should be possible. Well, I don't know about that Porygon prototype, because there's a lot of islands and it's all governed centrally. And it's going to be extremely hard to spread your forces out enough. You know, it's not like, let's say something happens in Shirebrook. You know, troops can come from, not Rainwood. What was it called, the next town up from Shirebrook? Oh shit, I can't remember. But from that other town, you know, someone could come on horseback and be there soon, or from the surrounding villages. But a lot of these islands on the outer rim, they're so far away from the White Prince's central holdings. They're not really, you know, like on the island we were just on, there was like 6 guards. I mean, and the sheriff. I'm sad about Arcadum stuff because it hurt people, but I'm also happy that Coibs can get more viewers. Doesn't make me a bad person. No, I kind of feel the same. It's a point of contention for me. Neil deserves far more fame than he has. Nilram almost legitimizes the treatment of spellcasters by the White Prince. Well, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You abuse your populace. You're going to encourage people to be, you know, resentful and angry and bitter. After killing the priest in Tombs of Scoria, I really liked your thoughts on it. Being alright to post hoc rationalize why your character acted in a certain way in D&D. I'm definitely not a method actor, so it can be hard to act as your character in the moment. Yeah, I think post-hoc rationalization is fine and, like, needed a lot of the time. It's not a great way to rationalize player actions, but it's a good way to rationalize character actions. Any idea what you're going to do with the kid and Todd? He seems like a liability. Nah, I think he'll be all right. He can help the old man with the bit. I mean, the old man's not very dexterous, you know. He's got a wooden leg and missing a hand, so he might be in charge of the base, but he's going to need the kid to do the labor. I honestly think parties being in the same world helps a lot for campaigns. For example, Empires of Arcadia, I just couldn't get into it, and for Todd, not knowing the world place makes it a bit hard to get into. I get that, but you know, that's how Hardcore Heroes started as well. The Bard killing actually made me more sad than it should. I know, it made me sad as well. Neil roleplayed him really well. He seemed like a pretty fucking cool kind of guy, you know?